Hello and welcome everyone. We have our International SAP Conference for Oil and Gas, Day 2. The topic of today's discussion is digital transformation in gas, LNG, and energy industry. With me, we have Dr. Sami Jamaa, who's the Chief Information and Digital Officer, CIDO, for JERA. JERA is an organization that was created out of Tokyo Electric Power Company and Chubu Electric Power Company's generation assets. And as the time progressed, as the organization evolved, JERA also expanded their work in the area of gas, LNG, and other minerals trading. So, with that background, let me start the discussion with Dr. Sami. Dr. Sami, welcome to the conference and thank you so much for agreeing to spend time with us and sharing your thoughts. So, first question that I would like to ask you is about the technology and the industry in the gas, LNG, and power industry. Can you please share with us what are the typical challenges and how can digital technologies help in solving those challenges?
Thank you for inviting me for this conference. I have wished to be face to face with everybody, so we can have interactive with people. The industry challenges are not stated today. It was for a certain number of time, but having the challenges stated, there is a question how to face these challenges and what are the tools to fix that. A major challenge on the industry from the gas and LNG specifically is the measurement of decarbonization, how to measure and track the amount of CO2 being released and methane released in the space, and at the same time, countries and green, talking about the green, etc. So these are a lot of pressure from international community and community, in fact, to be able to understand what is really the impact of this fossil fuel, on the environment. There are a lot of studies done on oil and gas itself, but LNG, it's a little bit more complicated than anything else. So it's just now started to be there. The industry is turning to, as usual, to technology on to solving this kind of problem. It's not only challenge, of course. There is a value chain. There is a lot of impact on from the countries in regulations and everything. So to get these measurement under control and understanding what is the impact and what action need to be done on legal actions or environmental actions. Digital, what can help, in fact, it's in many ways as usual. And as usual, I'm going to say, because the technology cannot be developed without answering the community questions. So it's not like we create digital solutions just for the fun of it, like we take a blockchain, okay, we use it for the fun of it. It's not the case. A lot of talk about green hydrogen, for example, or replacement of gas. The traceability programs for LNG and gas, how to trace it. As you know very well, for example, for LNG and specific for JERA specifically, which since it has a very long value chain, and the LNG itself, it has the liquefaction, transportation, transmission, and regasification, and all this goes into different countries and different states and different regulations, having certification on every side of it, which is validated certification, is very complicated task. There are no standards yet, and the only part where the digital can come and force the standardization of things. So the LNG and gas and power industry, they're having many issues that digital not only can solve but can push them into going into standard way of measuring and looking at things differently.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Very good insight. And you're absolutely right. I mean, technology just for the sake of technology has no meaning unless it solves some business problems. So that's absolutely right. We hear so much about various types of digital technologies, like there is IoT, and you mentioned about blockchain and big data management, edge computing, etc. From JERA's point of view, which technologies have you deployed or leveraged for business benefits?
So, JERA came together in 2016. So, as one company was 2019, as one fully functional company 2019. It has a history, of course, with Tokyo Electric and Chubu Electric. I'm mentioning that because we inherited a lot of things from these companies, and we didn't start from zero. However, we touched upon basically from the millisecond domain of IT, which is the IoT part of it, from the sensors at the at the machine level to the platform itself, where they put the visualization and the AI and the exploitation of data. So for the whole data channel, the whole data traveling from the millisecond part of it needs until the weekly and monthly and yearly needs of that same data, we have touched on all sides of it. So the IoT, we gather IoT data, we monitor our assets in Japan and abroad. Our IPP, we use that IoT data for running the defect or anomaly detection, let's say, for our equipment, the processes, etc. And at the same time, we integrate with our back office as well to understand the value of each action we are doing. So it's the end-to-end process. How much we achieved? We achieved a big part of it in the shop floor part. We worked a lot on the shop floor to have the data collected and understood and being delivered to the right place where it can be processed. Now, the biggest issue, of course, for all IT people, I think, is the architecture part of it, integration, and understanding where we are going to get the value. We can't put our money everywhere. We need to have the money going to a certain number of areas where the value, not today, but the future value is guaranteed. The area is very big, it's huge. So we have a team working on AI, we have a team working on IoT, we have a team working on what you call it, back office, but this is really most important part because it's a core. It is a process-driven core which can help us in developing our data-driven. And if once we have data-driven, we can go a little bit further, which is called customer-driven. And then when we go the customer-driven, we go to the community-driven. So everything is linked to each other. It's not separate. We'd like to have it into holistic, and at the same time we execute based on the value it can bring today and specifically in 5 and 10 and 15 years.
Right. So that requires a very holistic, comprehensive and long-term vision
Yes.
before planning the steps.
Yes, it's we have started with a real very comprehensive strategy. We reviewed strategy, in the past 3 months, in fact. But it's 3 years strategy. It cannot be 10 years strategy. Nobody can make a 10 years strategy. And it has all the elements which are the core elements which can grow our IT and bring this value to the business. So the business strategies were there. We were supporting them. But then we grew up with the business strategies because with the challenges, as we mentioned earlier, with not only gas and LNG, but also on because we do the trading as well, we do the power, we provide power, and we have many other things like for them storage. We invest in many other places where the storage, for example, renewable, offshore renewable fields in Taiwan, in many other places. So we have a lot of operations coming up, and the strategies are changing. So we made a strategy, IT strategy or digital strategy, let's say, which supports the core part of it, and it's flexible to support the future changes in the strategies of the business strategies.
Very nice. Just for the benefit of our audience, it's very important to know that JERA have committed themselves to renewable energy, and there are a lot of important steps being taken in that area. And the company management has also committed towards carbon neutrality, which is in line with the government's announcement. So, first of all, congratulations and good job done.
Thank
to
you.
JERA.
It has been announced for the zero emission 2050, but not only the announcement, but we put a roadmap for it.
Right.
And this is something, it seems, that it's not an easy thing to commit on this kind of targets. And I would can claim or that at least in Japan, putting this kind of targets and roadmap, we have a lot of companies, energy companies and not energy companies, coming to ask us how we do it and how we are going to do it. And every action line item of this decarbonization, every line item of that is, you can multiply it by something called digital. So nothing comes without the digital. It's not we do an action and digital is something else as part of the line. It's multiplied by digital to get the effect of acceleration effect and implementation and sustainability. We can go through that a lot, but this is what we are doing now. Yeah.
Right. That's excellent. In fact, the world needs support from governments, and governments need support from corporates in achieving this net zero emissions. So, kudos to the Japan government and the corporations of Japan like JERA, who are focusing on carbon reduction, greenhouse gases reduction, and at the same time deploying technology to use it. And I also get the message that technology has a very important role to play. Nowadays, nothing can be done without technology, and you have anyway substantiated that. So, taking our discussion forward, what kind of benefits have you achieved so far using digital technologies, and what is yet to come?
So, there are many levels of achievements. As everybody knows, we can say achievement in monetary terms. I mean, how much profit. But I think the most important part of of achievement that I think digital brought it is the only one that could bring the business together to have the same word and talk in front of the outside world. What I'm saying that is, everyone when they speak in the business, they can bring some certain level of point of view, from finance point of view, from transportation or KPIs and how we do things separately. Digital is all across that, and it could bring everyone around the same table to discuss how things are done and how a platform can provide a certain number of, first of all, answer to the community. At the same time, we can build very good value for it. So we are not running only for the value, which we do, because we are a business company. But at the same time, it's bringing also a much better visibility and the community to return to the community. So the biggest achievement I could say, when we put these ambitious plans, the question comes to the digital, where digital is situated, and it is a core and is linking everything together. So I think this is the first big thing. Now, if we look at the other achievements, which is like physical achievement, we have made a lot of things. For example, we started with cloud first. It's a very simple thing to say.
Yeah.
In Japan, it's a difficult thing to do. We were the first company in Japan, or in energy company in Japan. We move our workload, SAP workload, to the cloud first. Okay. And others now they're doing it, okay, and they're asking us questions how to do it. Okay, they make of course other clouds, but we are the first to move our critical systems, not only SAP, to the cloud. Now we move it a little bit a notch higher, since everybody's doing the cloud first. Now we are cloud only, and we are putting the bar a little bit higher. And now we have people asking, "What are you doing, guys? I mean, what is the next step of cloud first?" Okay. So there is a next step, of course, to the cloud only. There's another one above cloud only. We can speak at it later. So this is small achievement, but it's very important to deliver agile workspace, latest technologies, high security, and at the same time we are ready with the business to talk business, not we talk technical. So we put the technicalities behind us. We speak with the business. We can deliver quickly, more than before. So this is another achievement. I think we are at this level. We are very ready, to go very fast. There are many other things we have developed, like some from scratch AI solutions. We are packaging now this solution to provide it to our customers. With some customers asking us questions, and now okay, how you do this monitoring, how you are packaging the knowledge of our guys.
Right.
So this is what we're doing. There are many other things very interesting, like as I mentioned now, the knowledge packaging solution. So this knowledge of the people, of the engineers, we put it in a packaged way so we can deliver to our customers, including how you predict or preventive maintenance of your certain equipment, which is very, very expensive, how we do that. And this is what we are doing today. Okay.
Yeah, some very, very good insights, very important messages here. So, first of all, cloud first or cloud only, even better than that. So, many of our oil, gas, and energy companies who are considering migrating from on premise to cloud solutions, there is a very strong message and corroboration here from a large and reputed organization like JERA that it's possible, it's feasible, and it's viable to migrate to cloud and have more scalability and redundancy and security through those steps. So very nice. Thank you so much. Moving forward, in most of these oil and gas conferences, or when I meet with oil and gas and energy customers globally, they always talk about these POCs, proof of concept, and they say that we have done enough POCs and now it's time to move to POV, which is proof of value, because POCs provide some kind of indication of benefits, but when it goes to large scale rollout, then the situation could be different. So I would also like to understand from you, what is your or JERA's methodology? I mean, do you do pilot projects or POCs for everything and then roll out in phase wise manner? What's the methodology behind it?
This is a subject which I like. I hate POCs. Seriously,
Okay.
I hate POCs. I saw too many POCs here, not in JERA itself, but in Japan, that 90% of them that doesn't lead to anything.
Okay.
Okay.
So it
POC
becomes like an academic exercise.
Exactly. In fact, even worse to that.
Okay.
At least academic. I was academic guy, so it's good. Make research. It's worse than that. So POCs are, we are here. We're doing something. We have vendors, and we dangling in front of the vendors. Or we can work with them because they are so noisy. The vendors are. Let's do something with guys. Okay, let's make a POC. After 3 months, we don't have resources. We don't have the money. We don't understand what to do, and it dies. POCs are supposed to be 99% proof of concept or proof of technology, POT, which is being used. We are having certain ideas. We are confirming that concept is valid for us. This is not how it works today, basically. So we call it in Japanese POC bio. It means the disease of POC.
Okay.
Everybody say POC, but they're sick of it.
Yeah.
So what we do now is first start with the total architecture. So we understand holistically what we do, what we need to do, and when we run a certain number of tests or POCs, that you call POCs or MVPs, minimum viable products, it depends on what we need to do. One leading to something. The POC, if it doesn't lead to a prototype, we don't start even the POC itself. So POC is supposed to validate a certain number of criteria which can be validated before we start working on it. We are not testing the programming itself or the algorithm itself. The algorithm is working there, fine. Does it work for us? Does it meet our requirement exactly? So we need to understand where it sits down. So there are many methodologies, as I mentioned, and I am not favoring one over another. There is a methodology like the lean methodology, there is agile methodology, there is a V model methodology, there is, of course, the waterfall methodology. And I don't like to stick with one of any. It depends on the case. It depends on what we need to achieve. So first of all, again, start with the total architecture, or at least the core architecture where it is, and how this architecture or this element of the architecture are integrated within each other. Second part of it, you put on top of that, what are the data, from where it's coming the data, and how the flow of data, how the data is going to flow. Whenever you have a link or you have a door or a window of the data, you need to understand what the technology you need to use. And then it comes the solutions. It happened today, many guys get with many different solutions, sometimes, most of the time they are overlapping solutions, and they don't understand which one does more. And you get confused. That's why I do a lot of POCs to select. So there is a lot of notion. I think in the IT world, we need to clean up a lot of things. And I think we need to make sweep in front of our door and inside our house from these kind of things. And we need to go back to the original part of it, which is what we want to do, what value I'm going to create, what exactly the value, and which is the timing. People, not all of them, of course, many forget, like when you start a project, it takes time to achieve.
Right.
By the time you finish it, you need to understand where you are in time. Are you late compared to your competitors, or you are ahead of your competitors? If you make a project, you are the first one to do this project, and then after 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, you find the competitors already did it. You lost the money, you lost the time, you lost the edge. So the time frame, it's usually forgotten, everything. That's why I'm saying POC by itself is wrong.
Okay.
POC combined with a prototype, an MVP, if minimum viable products, and then you start the project with the right organization. When you start the POC, you have the organization being ready to start working.
Yeah.
And you understand the timeline and send the value where it's going to lead you. If I'm doing something in 5 years, I know companies doing something to be achieved in 5 years' time. We tell them, like, stop it, don't do it, because you're wasting your time, and it's just for propaganda. You can put it into a conference, say that I'm doing something, in 5 years it will be this thing, it will never be achieved.
Yeah.
So I think the question is very good. We are using different methodologies depending on the cases, defining the values, putting the timeline, and when we start, we need to achieve, not we start to throw.
Correct. In the Japanese IT industry, and also to a certain extent in oil, gas and energy industry, Dr. Sami is known to be a visionary CIO, and what comes across this discussion is that there is a clarity of vision in everything that you do. You don't, in a haphazard manner, just start a POC and then we will see later how it progresses. So it's very important to have that vision in mind and then plan all these steps, whether it's POCs or prototypes. And you mentioned about methodologies. There are many methodologies. I'll add to the confusion a bit more. SAP also have a methodology, yes, which is called as FSDV principle.
Okay.
And FSDV principle is basically not from POC point of view, but any new project or initiative that we start, it's basically feasibility, means technically is this feasible? Scalability, it can be done at a small scale, but can it be done at a large scale so that company really benefits? D for desirability, how desperately do the users, end users or consumers of the technology desire to have that solution? And viability, as in commercial viability. So we also have a framework of FSDV which can be utilized.
I think it's good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving forward now, when we have spoken about methodology and how should the technology be looked at from a lens of value, from people point of view, which is often overlooked when we talk in terms of technology, but from people point of view, when you are doing digital transformation initiatives, there are lots of apprehensions in the minds of people, like, will it take away my job, or will I need to upskill, learn new technology, or will processes change? So there are a lot of apprehensions in their minds. How have you and JERA addressed those challenges and prepared the workforce to take digital transformation in their stride?
That is the most critical and difficult part in every journey. People are by themselves, they are troublesome. It's not an easy thing to do. Preferably we have robots to do everything. Of course we cannot do that. But beside that, which we are a business company, so we have departments, we have finance, we have production and everything. We have people coming when they come to our business company, not like a consulting firm. It's different, not IT vendor or consulting firm or academic or research or R&D. It's different. They're coming for a career. They're coming to stay. They have their desk. They are doing a certain job that they learn from day one. Then they grow in the career, in the grades and everything. Yeah. When you bring something new, it's like you are vaccinating someone with anti-corona. Things happen in the body Okay, and when you say to come to this very almost static organization, telling them, listen, guys, we are changing, we are modifying, we are transforming. First of all, transforming from where to where, and why we are transforming. I spent 10 years I'm working on this subject, and I didn't see any problem. I'm getting my salary. We are getting money. What's wrong with that? So I won't say the word change management itself. It's or the mindset, whatever. The point here, very important point, which many I think they overlook, is the point is not the change itself. Okay, is we don't sit in their positions, and not because they're losing their job. They know they will not lose their job. The problem is we need to really to respect these people of their point of view, that where is the change for the company itself? I mean, why is it important now? And this story almost doesn't happen from top down. They say, okay, we need to change because we have competition. We are not doing well. So this is not the story. So getting the people to be very fascinated and motivated, and they are pushing for the change. This is something best thing to do. How to do that? Again, I said the vaccination. You bring people from outside. You bring young people. You bring people from different, we call it diversity.
Right.
You bring from different point of view, and you allow this kind of discussion. If you bring these people from outside, you put them into their own silo. Your job is this and this and this, and even the silo is change management.
Correct.
This is wrong. So you allow the both ways of to interact. Not I bring someone, I hire someone to be the leader in AI or the transformation officer in my team to tell people how to do. This is one way. The person needs to listen from everybody else. What's going on? What's wrong with that? So this kind of interaction and providing the environment, this is a very difficult thing to do. Specifically 2020, that happened, the corona, etc. Communication face to face. You need to have pizza parties, to talk with everybody, to bring them, to hire someone and to motivate every single person to be a change agent, not to the others, but to themselves. They need to understand exactly why others are resisting, etc. So what I'm going to say, the people factor is very, very important. I spend basically in a week more than 20% on the people only. Who are to hire? Who are the guys to change? What are the message to see? How there are some information is not going through well. So spend more time personally or with the guys to make this kind of easily to flow, to make the information flow all across. There is no leader, there is no CIO, and this hierarchy happening. Everybody has to talk to everybody. Everybody has to communicate to everybody. So fortunately, at least for JERA, we grew more than 300 times from from 3 years.
Wow.
Okay, more than 300 times. Okay, I think even 400 times. Okay. We grow fast from people from inside. We brought people from inside, from all areas of work of business. Some people doesn't know anything about IT, but I need them to be our face and our talk and the guys who are going to talk business with us. And we brought people only very focused on IT, very technologically savvy. They know blockchain very well. They know cloud very well. But these guys also, I need them to change the way things are happening. So we changed this kind of thing. Fortunately, 3 years, we didn't have basically from the guys who I hired, we have zero people who quit. Usually, as maybe you know very well, when you hire from mid-careers, 3 years, 4 years, people start to go out, to move.
Yeah.
We have zero. Fortunately, I hope they stay after this video.
That's very nice to hear.
Yes, I hope they stay. But we are putting a lot of effort to training, certification, SAP included. I'm buying books for anybody. It's open. Anybody like to buy a book, any book, we buy. We perform we send them to forums, to conferences. They listen to learn. So people is the most important factor in any change need to be done. It's difficult at the same time. It's easy.
Right.
So we are. I won't say it's successful. It's far from that. We're still having issues with because we're not working alone in digital or in the team. We are working with other departments, and the speed of change of that department is not the same speed of our speed. So we create some friction and some conflict sometimes, but no business company is going without any conflict. We are really. I think I'm proud with the team that we have today. They understand most of what we are needing to do. There's some confusion, of course, as well, but we're trying to grow, to face the challenges we spoke about earlier, and they understand where we are going.
Right.
Okay.
Very nice. Actually, the clarity of vision and then communicating the vision to employees, and it becomes a shared vision. That is the key to success. I absolutely agree. Taking our discussion forward, now we spoke about values and benefits, etc. What is your approach towards convincing the management in your digital transformation vision and the projects and initiatives that you undertake? Is there, like, do you do an ROI study every time, or NPV study, or do you provide qualitative benefits communication to them? What's the right approach?
Okay, I will take it in 2 stages.
Okay.
First one is between quote unquote called education stage. I don't believe that executives are very savvy in digital the way they should be, and not because they are bad, at the opposite, because the things are new, things happening new, and they are confused like anybody else.
Right.
So the education part is really the very, very important part of that. Once they are, the second part is the easiest part. When they understand very well, the money is not important. They will see the value of it. In fact, they bring something else which is I did not see or we didn't see. But in fact, the input of the value, where the value lies, it's not from my side. It's from the business side. I can tell them, listen, guys, let's put a blockchain solution for the green hydrogen traceability program, which is something which I'm working on today.
Okay.
Really. Tell them, listen, guys, I think this is very important. This from where it's coming? From them.
From them.
They explain to me all that, since they understand the power of technology, the power of things. And second thing, they understand like they're talking to people, not only me, which they understand what they're talking about, business. Third thing, it's not like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying, thank you, but you know what, our servers are on-prem, I'm spending more time on the security, my firewall is not working, someone is calling me, that the lights on are not totally on, I'm busy. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I have 5 tickets, I need to run to my tickets. So these guys will not accept these kind of things. What they do, they turn to external vendors to ask them questions. External vendors don't know very well our business, and the frustration starts from there. So first part is educating the business executive of capabilities of IT, capabilities of the team to deliver that, and how fast we can bring these kind of things. Okay, and we are partners. We are not servant. We are not leaders, or the boss of this. So they have to understand that. Then they will bring the value. They will put their finger on the values, and we work on that. So I'm not creating any ROI. I don't go and create ROI. They create the ROI. My job is to provide the best, the fastest, the secure solution to implement this to achieve their dream. This is my job. The ROI, of course, if it doesn't make sense, if my vendor giving me like a high cost, this is of course my job. But when I'm talking about is the ROI, the value, where its value is coming, they have to put the finger on that.
Right.
If they're not able to do that, I'm not going to do it. In fact, if they don't, not only the ROI, if they don't achieve it and monitor it, and we manage the payback, it will be big trouble for them.
Right.
And I will add a little bit more. I have a rule, in fact, which is not applied very much in JERA yet, but applied in different other places. When we put an ROI on a certain project, and the first day of go live, their budget will be reduced by the amount of ROI right away.
Okay.
Right ahead. It's like you go to the highway, you pay upfront.
Yeah.
They pay upfront. So they cannot provide a budget and then say, oh, the ROI will You will see it later on in my reduction. I don't do that.
Right.
So this is a lot of work with the finance. You have to monitoring. Go back to SAP. SAP is the one really can help you in achieving this kind of control on your cost, on your income, and if you use it in the right way. So the ROI part, going back, it's education to the business, telling them what we can do, what are the values we can do, and they will bring the ROI, and they will be the one pushing us to do the job.
Very nice. And one very important message here is that the business themselves have clarity, or they are convinced about usage of technology and digital technologies in their improvement initiatives. Having worked as a customer CIO myself, I used to notice that several times our CEO came and said, we are running a procurement optimization program or supply chain improvement program, and technology would play the most important role in that. So it's true that against the popular perception that IT is trying to push some technologies to business and business is behind and they are trying to push back, in several cases now business is so aware about technology that in many cases they come proactively and ask the technology team to create solutions for them, which is very good. Otherwise it becomes very difficult to convince all the time.
It depends on the leadership.
Correct.
Not on IT, but also on the business. If they believe like the leadership of IT should be at that level. Some leadership of the business doesn't believe that IT leadership should be at that level.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying. I have seen leader like CEO or president, they say we want to have weak IT. Really. They said, we don't need a strong IT. You know why? Because they will take our money.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there are people like that.
Okay.
Because they put them into a corner with all the changes happening, and they don't understand what's going on in the technology. So if you have a strong IT guy, they will push them, put them in the corner, right?
Correct.
So some really they're not invest on the IT leadership. I'm not speaking leadership is only the CIO. In the organization 4.0, org 4.0, which never existed today, it's IT without leader. There's no IT. In fact, business is IT. There's no more IT department. Every business is
Correct.
doing the IT itself. Since org 4.0, we in our level, in our general average is 2.0. We don't even go to 3.0.
Okay.
We are going to 3.0, but we are very far from that. So in general, in worldwide, I'm saying. So going to 4.0, it's the business itself. They are the IT guys.
Right.
They know every single thing on IT. They can speak with the vendor. They can implement. Everything is automated, quickly to be achieved. They make their own reports. They will create their own value. They ask for their life cycle. Things are moving like automated. I think we'll see something like that in 30 years or something.
Right. That's a very...
I won't be there maybe, but I'm saying that now on for the record.
That's a very important concept. In fact, for all of us, all of our audience, please search a bit more on Organization 4.0. We have regularly been hearing about Industry 4.0 or Manufacturing 4.0, but Organization 4.0 and how it would enable the growth using digital technology would be very important. So as we are progressing towards the end of our discussion, Dr. Sami, what would be your message to IT companies or IT partners like SAP and others on what approach they should take? And you've been working with IT companies for a very long time.
For a long time.
For a very long time, and you have seen good and bad side and the dark side. So what is your message? How should they improve, and what are the areas for them to improve?
I hope I'm not too aggressive on
no,
that.
Please share your candid
Of course,
opinion.
and of course I shared before unofficially, but now I'll officially. The large IT vendors have a big responsibility in two things. In this world, in the community, in awarenesses, in solving big problems.
Right.
At the same time, they are causing a lot of trouble in different other areas. Okay. This IT company has to be working very close to create a business company community where they can exchange their expertise and the work without any borders. It does not make no sense that work I have done, that SAP knows it, for example, and you work with another company which need exactly what I have done, and you don't put us in touch. And we make this community which everybody is benefiting, because SAP or whoever other big companies, they will benefit from new insight, and your product will be developed into much bigger product.
Right.
I am applying this my solution in Japan. Other guys doing it in the United States. You see the difference. Instead of recreating the same problem, making requirement sheet, deployment, implementation. I'm not talking about only SAP, by the way. SAP is connecting us, like in the conference, connecting us. This is great.
Sure.
But having something, I won't say permanent, but something like a framework which can bring business companies together, which they can share in a very open way, open platform, because this is what is, we call it the Web 3.0, right? Community creating the content, right? How we can have something like that I don't like to recreate everything. Why I have to ask the same question to you, and the same question was asked by 10,000 company, and you have the answer.
Right.
Why don't ask the guys directly and they give us, and we exchange this kind of things. You tell me what, this is very big, generic. I will tell you a few things. Architecture, technology integration. When we have some viability of certain products, how the methodology and the framework, how to do certain things. Capabilities. We have some ideas, certain capabilities, how to develop these capabilities. Others, they would like looking for that. So I'm asking looking this camera, asking the vendors, the big vendors, they have a big responsibility to accelerate this kind of, for business company, accelerate the deployment and speed. They're responsible on bringing solution, this is great. They need to be much more focused on exchanging and accelerating the way we are doing. I'm working again with SAP for a long time. They have huge number of documents, a lot of insights, conferences. It's a great thing, and other companies need to understand that they get much more money, much more value, if to create additional products and grow their product, not grow their customer base asking the same dummy questions to them. It's waste for their time.
Correct.
So IT vendors, for example, or companies or consulting, they are picking up the best resources, right? But they're giving them to answer Q&A, which everybody asked like 10 years ago.
Right.
It's lost time and money and skills. And we, as a business company, it's difficult for us to pick up one data scientist because they were working in other big companies.
Right.
So how to have these guys getting the best resources and answering the better questions rather than answering the questions which has been asked 10,000 times. So putting together this kind of community, in exchange this kind of framework, as I mentioned, will be tremendous things. The value of these companies will grow very high, and we will move faster into the next era, which is happening in robotics, and I'm going to speak AI is a piece of it. Robotics, automation, and the most important part of every single thing, which is the energy free. Can we have a free energy? Maybe.
Right.
When we have hydrogen and everything. So we need to move to the next era. So this is one thing which I would like to say.
Very nice. That's a very important message for tech companies, that in addition to providing solutions, good solutions, continuously evolving solutions, it's also our responsibility to provide that platform to various customer organizations where they can exchange their thoughts, experiences, strategies, etc. In fact, the executive advisory councils of SAP for various industries, like the one for oil and gas, it's a very good platform for companies to join in and share their experiences, challenges, solutions, etc. So thank you so much, Dr. Sami. It's been such a useful, such an insightful discussion
Hopefully.
with you. I would like we have learned so much. Is there anything important which I should have asked and missed? So please let me know if you want to add any comments.
No, thank you. I think we covered a lot. So no, not specifically. Maybe a little thing or small thing I'd like to mention about Japan is running across a lot of challenges in many things, and I speak in Japan because I live in Japan, but they are very prone to change. They have a lot of challenges, but they're prone to change, and I hope that the vendors, big vendors, look really very hard about Japan. Don't do as Japanese doing, the way they're doing. They bring the change to Japan as well. Because we are very slow in many things. We find like language, for example, SAP documentation mostly in English. Japanese documentation are not available in the right information or other are doing the same. So Japan is a huge. We are the third economy, and we want to have this kind of information be shared with us.
Okay.
So this is one part because about Japan. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So many thanks to Dr. Sami
you.
for joining us for this interview. I'm sure all of you have also enjoyed, learned from it. Please share your thoughts and feedback with us, and if you have any more questions, please write to us. We'll forward them to Dr. Sami and get you connected to him. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you.
Thank you.